Have you ever looked at a man and wondered, does he truly see me, or am I just another chapter in his story? That question alone has kept countless women awake at night, replaying conversations, analyzing texts, and second-guessing every little thing he does. But here's the truth. When a man genuinely sees you as the one, everything shifts. His tone, his actions, the way he looks at you, it all starts to carry a different energy. It's not about guessing anymore. It's about feeling that something real is unfolding. The reason this topic matters so much is because too many incredible women waste time trying to decode mixed signals. When the truth is, a man who sees you as the one doesn't keep you guessing. He becomes clear, consistent, intentional. You start noticing a quiet confidence in the way he moves around you, as if he's finally found what he didn't even know he was searching for. In this video, we're not talking about fairy tales or just wait and see advice. We're diving deep into the real psychological and emotional shifts that happen inside a man when he recognizes that you are the woman he wants to build a future with. Because once you understand these signs, once you see the difference, you'll never have to question another man's intentions again. So if you've ever wondered what changes when a man sees you as the one, stay right here. What you're about to learn might just change how you look at love forever. When it comes to understanding male commitment, the first thing you have to know is this. Men don't fall in love the same way women do. For most men, commitment isn't triggered by emotion alone. It's triggered by certainty. A man can be wildly attracted to you, deeply enjoy your company, and even say he loves you, but he won't truly commit until something inside him clicks, until he feels that being with you aligns with who he is and who he wants to become. That's the psychology behind male commitment. It's not about fear of love, it's about fear of losing identity. For a man, choosing the one means merging his sense of self with another person, and that's huge. Before that happens, he has to feel emotionally safe enough to drop his guard. He has to trust that loving you won't cost him his freedom, his goals, or his sense of direction. The moment he realizes that loving you actually enhances his life, not limits it, that's when he starts to see a future. Men also commit through purpose. When a man starts imagining you as part of his long-term plans, introducing you to family, making space in his routines, including you in decisions, it's because he's mentally placing you in his life vision. That's when he moves from now to forever. His actions stop being reactive and start being intentional. He thinks about protecting you, providing for you, and building stability, not because he has to, but because he wants to. But here's the secret most people miss. Men don't commit to women who chase them. They commit to women who inspire them. The woman who holds her own energy, who brings peace instead of pressure, who adds meaning without demanding validation. That's the woman who makes a man choose her effortlessly. So when a man starts to see you as the one, it's not about you convincing him. It's about you creating the emotional environment where his natural instincts for love, loyalty, and protection awaken on their own. He doesn't just love you, he decides that life is better with you in it. And once that decision is made, everything about the way he shows up begins to change. In the early stages of any relationship, it can be hard to tell whether a man is just enjoying the moment or starting to see something deeper, something lasting. But when a man begins to see you differently, as someone who could truly be the one, his entire energy toward you shifts in ways that are subtle yet unmistakable. These early signs aren't about grand gestures or perfect words. They're about consistency, presence, and the quiet ways he starts to prioritize you without even realizing it. One of the first signs is emotional curiosity. When a man begins asking deeper questions, not just, how was your day, but how do you really feel about that? Or what do you want for your future? He's showing genuine investment. He's not just filling silence. He's trying to understand the world through your eyes. This curiosity is a form of emotional intimacy that men don't share lightly. It means he's seeing you as more than someone to spend time with. He's beginning to see you as someone who matters to his emotional world. Then comes consistency. Men can be charming in short bursts, but when he sees you differently, he becomes steady. You notice it in the way he follows through. He calls when he says he will, shows up when he promises to, and doesn't make you question his intentions. His reliability becomes his love language. He's no longer trying to impress you. He's trying to build trust. You'll also see it in his attention to detail. He remembers small things you mentioned weeks ago, your favorite coffee, the story about your childhood pet, the deadline that's been stressing you out. These moments show that you're not background noise in his life. You're at the forefront of his mind. This shift from passive listening to active remembering is one of the strongest signs he's emotionally engaged. Another major sign is protective awareness, not in a possessive way, but in the way he subtly looks out for you. Maybe he walks you to your car, makes sure you get home safely, or checks in after a rough day. These gestures aren't about control, they're about care. When a man starts doing these things instinctively, it's because he's emotionally invested in your well-being. You may also notice vulnerability starting to appear. Men are often taught to mask their emotions, but when he starts opening up, sharing his fears, failures, or insecurities, that's a powerful sign he trusts you. Vulnerability is a man's version of emotional commitment. It means he's letting you into the parts of him he doesn't show just anyone. Finally, his vision starts to include you. He talks about future plans, trips, goals, even small weekend ideas, and naturally includes we, instead of I. That shift in language is not accidental. It means he's subconsciously starting to see his future with you in it. These early signs might seem simple, but together they paint a clear picture. He's no longer just dating you, he's connecting with you. When a man begins to see you differently, the relationship starts to move from surface-level attraction to something real, grounded, and emotionally undeniable. Emotional intimacy is the moment when the relationship stops being about appearances and starts being about truth. When a man opens up, you're not just seeing who he is, you're seeing who he trusts you enough to be. This is the stage where connection moves beyond attraction, beyond chemistry, and becomes something deeply human. For many men, reaching this point doesn't come naturally. It's not that they don't want to share, it's that they've been conditioned to believe that vulnerability equals weakness. So when he begins to open up emotionally, it's not random, it's a major sign that he feels safe with you in a way he doesn't with most people. It often starts with small admissions. Maybe he tells you about a stressful day, a difficult family situation, or something that embarrassed him years ago. It may seem minor, but that's how men test emotional waters, by revealing just enough to see if you'll listen without judgment. How you respond to those early disclosures shapes everything that comes next. When you respond with empathy, understanding, and presence, when you don't rush to fix or criticize, you signal to him that it's safe to go deeper. That's when his emotional wall begins to lower. Soon the conversations shift. He starts to share not just facts but feelings. He tells you what scares him, what motivates him, and what he dreams about. He talks about his mistakes, not to impress you, but because he wants you to know him. This kind of transparency is rare for most men, and it means he's starting to see you as someone he can truly build with, not just date. You'll also notice that his emotional expression starts to become reciprocal. He not only talks about himself, but shows genuine curiosity about your inner world. He wants to understand what makes you feel seen and supported. Emotional intimacy is never one-sided. It's a dance of openness and acceptance. When he starts mirroring your emotional honesty, that's when the relationship becomes a space of mutual trust. Another key indicator is that he begins to let his guard down during moments of tension. Instead of withdrawing or shutting down, he stays present, willing to work through disagreements instead of avoiding them. That's emotional maturity, and it's born from a sense of safety. He knows that even in conflict, the connection won't collapse. When a man opens up emotionally, he's not just giving you information, he's giving you access. Access to his fears, his history, his heart. It's a quiet, powerful declaration. I feel safe with you. And once that door opens, the relationship deepens in a way that physical chemistry never could. Because the truth is, emotional intimacy is where real love begins. It's not found in grand romantic gestures or perfect words, but in those raw, unfiltered moments where two people drop their armor and simply choose to be known. When he opens up, he's not just telling you how he feels, he's showing you that you're the one he wants to share his soul with. When a man truly starts to see you as the one, his actions begin to change in ways that are impossible to ignore. This is where the relationship shifts from potential to reality, when words start matching actions and effort becomes consistent instead of conditional. A man who's emotionally invested doesn't just say he cares, he starts showing it in every area of his life. His behavior tells you more than any declaration ever could. The first thing you'll notice is intentionality. Suddenly his plans aren't vague or last minute anymore. He makes time for you, not because he's obligated to, but because you've become a priority. He starts planning ahead, dinners, trips, future events, and he's not afraid to let you see that you matter to him. When a man's feelings deepen, he starts integrating you into his rhythm. You become part of his schedule, not just an option when it's convenient. Another change is stability. The emotional roller coaster of uncertainty starts to settle. You feel a sense of calm in his presence, fewer mixed signals, fewer what are we moments. He communicates openly, even about uncomfortable things. When men are serious, they don't play guessing games. They step up, they clarify. He may even start setting boundaries that protect the relationship because now he sees it as something worth maintaining. Then comes accountability. When a man sees you as the one, he begins taking responsibility for how his actions affect you. He doesn't want to disappoint you, not out of fear but respect. You'll notice him paying more attention to his tone, his consistency, and the way he handles conflict. He'll start saying things like, I should have handled that better, or I don't want you to feel like that. That's emotional growth, and it's a strong sign he's building something real. He also becomes more protective of your emotional space. He listens differently, not just to respond, but to understand. He becomes mindful of how his words or decisions make you feel. It's not about control, it's about care. A man in love naturally wants to create peace for the woman he values. You'll sense that he's trying to make your life a little easier, lighter, and safer, both emotionally and physically. Another powerful shift is inclusion. He starts introducing you to the people who matter, friends, family, colleagues. That's not casual. That's him saying, you're part of my world now. He includes you in his future plans, seeks your opinions on important choices, and starts using we more often than I. That's a subconscious sign of emotional alignment. His life narrative now includes you at the center. Ultimately, these changes aren't about perfection, they're about direction. When a man's heart commits, his habits follow. You won't have to question where you stand, because his actions will keep showing you, day after day. He becomes more grounded, more present, and more intentional, because when a man realizes he's found the one, every part of him begins to act like it. When a man starts having the future talk, it's one of the clearest signs that his mindset has shifted from now to forever. This moment often catches women off guard, not because it's dramatic or heavily planned, but because it feels natural. It happens in quiet moments over dinner, during a drive, or while you're just lying next to each other, when he casually begins weaving you into his vision of what's ahead. But make no mistake, that conversation carries deep meaning. It's not small talk. It's emotional revelation. When a man begins to talk about the future, it means he's no longer living in the uncertainty of where is this going. He's already decided where he wants it to go, and he's inviting you to see that vision with him. It might start subtly, next summer we should go to, or if we ever got a place together, I'd want. These aren't random ideas. They're small windows into how he's beginning to mentally position you in his long-term life. A man who doesn't see a future with you doesn't imagine one. When he starts talking about it, it means he's emotionally preparing to build one. But the future talk isn't only about travel or logistics. It's about emotional permanence. You'll notice him bringing up topics like finances, goals, family, and long-term plans. He's not doing this to test you. He's trying to align. He wants to make sure your values, ambitions, and visions for the future connect with his. This is where emotional compatibility becomes real, not just about love, but about lifestyle, priorities, and purpose. It's also important to understand that when a man talks about the future, he's showing vulnerability in a different way. Commitment means exposure. He's sharing his dreams, fears, and uncertainties about what lies ahead. He's essentially saying, this is what I'm building, and I want to know if you'll be there with me. That's not a light statement. It's a declaration of trust. For many men, future planning equals emotional security. If he's making plans with you, He feels safe enough to imagine a life beyond the present. You may also notice a change in tone during these conversations. There's a calm confidence to his words, a sincerity in his gaze. He's not promising the world. He's simply showing you that he wants to walk through it with you. He might ask your opinion on where you'd like to live, what kind of home feels right, or how you see your career growing, because in his mind your choices and his future are becoming intertwined. Ultimately, the future talk isn't just about making plans, it's about building intention. It's his way of saying, I'm thinking long term, I'm thinking about us. When he begins speaking in those terms, he's no longer testing compatibility, he's confirming it. And that's when you know, this isn't just a relationship he's enjoying, it's a life he's starting to envision with you at the center of it. When a man is all in, when he's emotionally open, consistent, and clear about wanting a future with you, the next chapter isn't about keeping him, it's about nurturing what the two of you are building together. Too often, people believe that once commitment is established, the work is done. But in truth, that's when the real relationship begins. Love doesn't sustain itself automatically. It thrives through attention, patience, and mutual growth. When a man sees you as the one, he's ready to invest deeply, but he also needs to feel that the emotional connection between you continues to evolve. The first step to nurturing that connection is emotional reciprocity. He's already opened up, now it's your turn to meet him there. Share your truth with him, not just your strength. When you let him see your hopes, your fears, and your dreams, you create emotional balance. Men stay connected to women who let them feel needed, not because of dependency, but because it gives their love purpose. Show appreciation for his effort, acknowledge the ways he supports you, and express how his presence impacts your life. Appreciation is emotional oxygen in a committed relationship. It keeps love breathing. Another key is maintaining individuality. When a relationship deepens, it's easy to lose sight of personal identity. But what drew him to you in the first place was your energy, your independence, your sense of self. Continue nurturing your passions, your friendships, and your personal goals. A strong relationship is built on two whole individuals who choose each other every day, not two halves trying to complete one another. When you keep growing, you inspire him to do the same, and that shared growth becomes the heartbeat of your bond. Communication also becomes even more crucial at this stage. When he's all in, he values honesty over harmony. He wants real connection, not perfection. That means addressing misunderstandings early, expressing needs clearly, and being willing to listen even when it's uncomfortable. Healthy communication isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about handling it with care. When both of you learn to stay connected even during disagreement, the relationship becomes unbreakable. Equally important is emotional safety. Make your relationship a judgment-free zone, a place where both of you can express without fear. When he feels that his emotions, ambitions, and vulnerabilities are respected, he stays anchored in the connection. Emotional safety builds trust, and trust builds longevity. Finally, nurture the relationship by keeping the spark alive. Love matures, but it should never grow dull. Keep surprising each other, laughing together, flirting, and creating new experiences. Passion isn't lost with time, it's maintained through effort. When he's all in, your love becomes a partnership of choice and growth. Nurturing that love isn't about doing more, it's about being present, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Because when two people continually choose to show up for each other, love stops being something that just happens, it becomes something that lasts. When you reach the point where a man truly sees you as the one, everything you've learned and experienced together starts to come full circle. All the questions, doubts, and uncertainties that once filled your mind begin to fade, replaced by a quiet understanding that real love doesn't confuse you, it clarifies you. But even as things become clear, this stage of the journey is not an ending, it's a beginning. It's the start of building something deeper, more grounded, and more intentional than ever before. The biggest truth about love is that it's not found in one magical moment, but in a series of small, meaningful choices. The decision to stay curious about each other, to keep communicating, to forgive, to grow, and to show up with consistency. When a man sees you as the one, and when you recognize that he's all in, your focus should shift from wondering if he's committed to learning how to sustain that commitment together. Because lasting love isn't about intensity, it's about intentionality. In this phase, your next step is to nurture emotional intimacy. to keep deepening that bond that made him open up to you in the first place. Don't stop having the deep conversations. Don't stop asking questions. Don't stop showing gratitude. The spark that brought you together should evolve into something warmer, a partnership that feels safe, yet alive. Make space for laughter, for vulnerability, and for imperfection. Real love doesn't need to look perfect. It just needs to feel true. You'll also want to stay grounded in self-awareness. Continue being the version of yourself that feels authentic, confident, and fulfilled. Remember, he fell in love with the woman who knew her worth. Keeping that self-respect alive isn't just for you, it's for the relationship. The strongest partnerships are built on mutual admiration, where both people inspire each other to keep evolving. Another next step is setting shared goals, not just financial or practical ones, but emotional goals. How do you both want to grow together in the next year? What kind of energy do you want to bring into your relationship? Couples who consciously design their connection last longer, because they treat love like a living thing, something that needs to be fed with time, honesty, and care. And finally, remember that love isn't a finish line, it's a daily choice. A man who sees you as the one doesn't stop choosing you once he commits. He keeps choosing you because you keep choosing him. That's what sustains the magic. So as we close this journey, carry this truth with you. When love is real, it's not about chasing or convincing. It's about connection, clarity, and growth. If you nurture it with presence and purpose, you won't just have a man who sees you as the one. You'll have a partnership that feels like home every single day.